Now with our GMA cover story, a closer look at the inspiring story of Christopher and Dana Reeve and their family. The new documentary, Superman, takes us inside their life before and after the catastrophic injury that left Christopher paralyzed. Our Will Reeve is here with his siblings, Alexandra and Matthew. But first, Diane Sawyer on Christopher's life and legacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Reeve.
It is 10 months after his shocking horseback riding accident. Christopher Reeve is at the Oscars with so many friends seeing him for the first time. Their supersonic Superman, who can now travel only as fast as his wheelchair.
What you probably don't know is that I left New York last September, and I just arrived here this morning. And I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't have missed this kind of welcome for the world. Thank you.
His fellow actors remember how he was once their impossibly handsome 6'4" colleague. But he started out a skinny kid from New York. Here he is in the Superman screen test. He set out with ferocity to train his body.
The point is that when I started, I was a string bean, and Superman's not a string bean. The thing that happens is that the stronger I get, the more it helps my mental attitude towards the part.
And the string bean in that audition succeeded in becoming the muscular superhero who could save mankind. Now a paralyzed man was still filled with superhuman hope that someday he could will himself to walk again. He created a foundation which has invested more than $140 million in research and has helped others to stand, to walk. It's all described in the upcoming documentary, Superman. But as the years go by, the miracles he sought for himself never came. His fingers moved slightly, he celebrates. He strains, struggles to make his legs move. And he works so hard to prove to the doctor he can breathe without a ventilator.
I was hoping that we'd find some response from the diaphragm when we stimulated the nerve. We didn't.
The doctor gives him bad news.
Well, I understand. Okay, well, thank you.
Eventually, surgery will help him breathe on his own a little, at times for hours a day. His older children from a previous relationship, Matthew and Alexandra, would spend hours sitting with him in his office.
There were days where he was getting major setbacks, devastating medical news, or changes on a policy fight that he was fighting and he had lost that battle. And he would let us see the hope and the disappointment and say, today is a really hard day. And then he would say, and we're going to go get dinner together, or let's go watch a movie. Like, he would let us see him take that journey back up.
Alexandra and I are both parents now. You can understand where that sort of extra level of determination and perseverance would come from.
And day after day, he looked for ways to be the dad his little boy needs.
Daddy's in his off-road vehicle.
My dad taught me how to ride a bike, which is quite remarkable considering he wasn't able to move.
How does it feel to be riding your bike, sir?
And then, after 9 valiant years, in 2004, Christopher Reeve's body suddenly gives out. He falls into a coma. His wife, Dana, races to him.
She came flying in, and she just yelled, "I love you, I love you," over and over again. Making sure he could hear it, she was going to reach him.
Certainly a part of her had just died in that moment as well. And I told him that I loved him. I would do whatever I could to make him proud.
And then he was gone.
I promised to love, honor, and cherish him till death did us part. Well, I can't do that, because I will love honor, and cherish him forever. Goodbye to you.
And then 10 months after Christopher Reeve's death, the unimaginable. The mother who had held the family together with her light, her song, is diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Dana Reeve had never smoked. We talked about the wrenching moment she realized she had to give her 12-year-old son, Will, the news.
And to then have to tell him, you know, that now I have cancer, I thought, how much can one little soul bear?
Dana Reeve arranges for Will to live with the family of his best friend. And then, after 7 months fighting the cancer, she dies at the age of 44.
Despite the love and security that my siblings provided me and my family provided me and my adoptive family provides me, that was the moment, March 6th, 2006, I've been alone since then.
With extraordinary love, his older siblings, Alexandra, who was then a law student, and Matthew, a producer, would drop everything in their lives when their little brother needed them. So in our interview, Will has a question he says he's never asked them before.
Did you find it difficult did people worry enough about you?
That it wasn't the issue. I don't think I've ever thought about that either. The job at hand was keeping things going, keeping us okay, keeping everyone okay, honoring them in the right way, setting you up for success.
I think our greatest focus and front of mind was you, and I'm in awe of both of you and how you've carried yourself and continue to carry yourself, and yeah.
A family like any other, teaching the rest of us about finding a path through loss to strength and love. Yesterday, you heard the lullaby Dana would sing to the family every night, This Pretty Planet.
All through the night, safe till the morning light.
Her song for a little boy, now all grown up.
Now, as Uncle Will put their kids to bed many times, and that's the song I sing to them. I remember the words. How could you not? There's a universal story in here, and it's not about a famous person in a cape and tights. It's about a family. It's a human story. We had human parents who did superhuman things.
And their beautiful children, Matthew Reeve, Alexandra Reeve Givens, and our Will Reeve, are here. Wow.
Wow.
And watching you all as you're watching Diane's interview with you, first of all, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank each and every one of you. So beautiful, so powerful, such grace that you continue to show. I understand that you all were together when you saw the first rough cut. Did that help being all together? What were your emotions watching it together?
Yeah. Yeah, we were really lucky that we were able to all be in the same city because we live in different parts of the world, and it was one of the highlights for me of this journey of doing this documentary was being able to sit there and see it and watch this story. And our home movies have been crafted in this incredibly well-told cinematic way.
Yeah. The bond between you all is so powerful. The movie is fantastic. Congratulations on that. Will, we see how emotional it was for you in the documentary, but you were so young then. I imagine doing this, you must have learned a lot of things that you couldn't have known then.
Right. I was born after the Superman of it all, and Matthew and Al were older than I was, so it was a real gift to be able to see all the stories that I had heard growing up laid out cinematically and to fill in the blanks that I had for my dad and my mom, and it was a gift. And to Matthew's point about watching it all together, it was such a relief to be with them because I always feel so safe with my siblings, but it was also a relief because the movie's really good. We're sitting there going like, oh, thank God. We're proud of this one.
You should be.
You should be very proud. And Alexandra, we got a sense of what your family was like and the dynamic of your family through this documentary. And Before and after your father's accident, how did that dynamic help you all deal with this?
Well, one of the things I love about this film is just watching the entirety of our dad's life and Dana's life told. I mean, our dad was this amazing, strong person who flew solo across the Atlantic twice and had all of these hobbies that people don't even know about. And so to have that part of him captured, but then after the accident, when his definition of strength changed so much, it was about being resilient, about being there as a parent, and having that story told and seeing some really good baby footage of Will. This was priceless.
My favorite was the braces, actually.
George sent me a note going, the braces worked.
Just like us, just like us. And it was so beautiful how you included Will's mother, Dana, who you all were very close with. And we saw in just a piece right there and how you were talking about her too. Can I call you Al as well? I know they call you Al.
It's a family name, but you
okay. It was important. Yeah. It was important. She was the caregiver. She was the one, and I know you read a part of her diary that she left, but talk about the importance of making sure that she was included with the story.
Yeah, I mean, Dad's accident really pushed the marriage vows of in sickness and in health to the extreme, and Dana never wavered for a second, and she was the rock that the whole family was built upon, and I think gave him the strength to carry on, as well as the three of us. And you can't tell his story without her.
Right.
Now, a lot of people are going to be inspired by this story. Thank you for sharing it. All of you can see Superman, the Christopher Reeve story in select theaters on September 21st and 25th. For tickets, go to Fathom Events.